Oh, cylinder head bolts are broken too. Oh.
Welcome back to the, I can't see the screen. Boop. Welcome back to the shop. I'm Jason, and today we are dealing with more disasters on Project Cheapskate. In episode something, 6, episode 6, we're replacing the Vanos gears. Oh, I'm dripping oil everywhere, shit. Flinging oil everywhere. Okay, I'm back. So we're replacing the Vanos drives for our Vanos faults because, well, as you can see, these bolts broke off on the intake side. In the process, I was peeking around looking to see if I could find the bolt heads. I can't. And I found more missing bolt heads. See, another common problem, unfortunately, on this N52 engine is that the cylinder head bolts that go into the front of the block timing cover area, there's 4 of them, they like to break and the heads like to disappear. I've got 1, 2, 3 broken bolts up here, which is not good. Thankfully, you can order those 4 bolts separately. Unfortunately, they're broken. What the hell? So I'm gonna go about this in the simplest way I hope I can. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this upper chain guide off. I'm going to try to separate it from the timing chain here and see if I can move the tension or the chain guide over, or the timing chain, rollers, whatever, far enough that I can get to that bolt in the back there. If I can't, well, guess I'm gonna be doing timing chain guides, and I didn't want to do that. It's another 180 bucks or something for just those, not counting the special tools I need for the stupid crank pulley and the injection of the sealant and all of that jazz. So let's start with just trying to get the visible bolts out first. Of the 3 bolts, this one here looks like it will be the easiest to get out. This one looks ridiculous to try to get that one out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try using a sharpened chisel that should fit in there. And I'm gonna just tap it into the head or the shaft of the bolt here, being that there's no freaking head. And since it's aluminum, hopefully it will drive enough that maybe I can spin it out. It doesn't, well, it's moving a little bit. I don't want to send more metal down into the engine. It does want to wiggle. Needle nose pliers. That's doing it. I think I'm going to adjust this camera here to time lapse, and I will try to work that guy out. Oh boy, that's success right there. All right, 1 out of 3. I don't know why it looks so darn chewed up. That is weird. Okay, now I'll try for this one. It's recessed a bit further in there. Looks a little harder to get to. I've got this handful of window door frame sealant from the 540. This is the old stuff. We'll put some of this on there. See if maybe that's a little trick. Don't really want to lose that down in the engine. No, too much oil. I feel like this could have been a good possibility here, but the oil is going to make it tough. Boy, this bolt, this one doesn't want to move at all. Might have to try the drift idea again. Trying to create a little flat spot in it. Made the flat spot. It is not twisting. I really don't want to use a drill bit down in there. All right, I'm gonna play with this for a little while and get back to you. That's 2. This one was reset so low, nothing would get to it. I did find it was soft enough for really sharp #1 Phillips to hammer, 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 and then I could get just like 2 or 3 twists out of it before I couldn't twist anymore. I had to hammer again, back and forth. That worked out okay. Now we got to get our chain guide out of the way and see what we can come up with there. That should be interesting. All right, let's stuff some paper towels down below these guide bolts here. These are E8. Oh, we don't need this giant extension. Is it an 8? Yeah, E8. And these are steel, so they don't need to be replaced. Oh, they do have a little washer on them. That's good to see. Don't want to drop that. That's why we stuffed all these paper towels in there. Okay, and then we're going to pull this access plug off on the front. This is a 8mm Allen. We can get to our guide back there. It looks like probably a T30. Let's see if we're right. It might be bigger than that. 30 fits. A little looser than I'd like, but it fits. No, it's a 30. Yep, that's this guy here. Next, we're going to delicately try not to break our guide here. So this upper piece is attached here, basically just a clamp fit. We need it out of the way in order to get this far enough out of the way to get to that head bolt. I think we'll have access to it. Pry time. Oh, it's coming apart nicely. Let's see if we can do half and half. Look at the chain out of the way. Oh, it snaps itself back together nicely. Let's try a couple of these guys.
This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea!
And you're not going to lose your chain because Vanos solenoids are still in there. Oh no, there went my screwdriver. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. All right. Magnet. Oh, magnetic stuff in there. It's sticking to everything else. Oh my goodness. Here, let's have a laugh together. Oh gosh, everything is going so well. There it is, I can see it, I can see it. Okay, how about a flexi magnet? Okay, don't do that, please, don't do that. Oh boy, oh, that light's dead. So for this last bolt, what I'm gonna try to do is, now that I've got that top piece of the timing guide off, I'm going to pry this side over and see if I can hammer a screwdriver into it just like the other one and see if it comes out. If it comes out, we're golden. I can get the other ones in, I should be able to torque them. I'll pull the intake manifold back off, even though I just did that a couple weeks ago, when the bolts get here, and I'll replace that bolt up here as well. Fast forward with $15 shipping 2 days later, I've got my new bolts. So first thing we need to do is make sure that the holes are clear, and when I look down in there, I see oil. So I really don't want to try to send the bolts down there through a packed hole and, I don't know, break or do whatever again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a little bit of brake clean down in there. Got a nice long nose on here. Stick that down in there with a rag and some safety glasses and try to blow any debris out. With our holes clean, we have 2 different bolt sizes. There's the short one, which is a 30mm. The long one, 70mm. Up front, we have these 2 front openings. These are the 70s. The one behind the guide is a 30, And the one in the head outside under the manifold here, that's a 70. There's also two torque specs here. The short one, the 30, is a 10 Newton meters and then 90 degrees. The long one is 10 Newton meters and then 135 degrees. So we're gonna start with our short one, since it's the hardest to get to, behind the guide here. And we're gonna see what we can do about lowering it down here. I wanna find a way to get to it. Shoot, this guide is really gonna be in the way. I bet there's a special tool BMW has for this. I'm gonna stuff a bunch of rags down there. That's gonna help. I'm gonna try my luck with a pair of needle nose pliers. I've got some paper towels down in there, so it can't go too far. Okay, that did it right there. Dropped right in. Now the question is, how in the world do I tighten it? I'm gonna try, I have a flex head. These are an E12. Little flexi head ought to help. Yeah, that does it right there. It's gonna make the torque a little wonky, but at least there'll be a bolt in it. 10 Newton meters. Right there. Then we're gonna be using my gear wrench. This does all the different units of measurement that you could possibly want, and it does angle torque, which is specifically why I bought this guy more than a decade ago. God, I hate torque to yield bolts. All right. One down. Now we're gonna get our paper towels back out. Try not to make our wrench mad again. All right, 10 Newton meters. That happens really quick. Okay. These are 135 degrees. 35. Okay, so now to do our intake manifold bolt. I just had the manifold off, a couple weeks ago. I hope that I can just unbolt the manifold, slide it up. Let's try that, see if that works. Let's see if we can drag this manifold up high enough to get to that bolt. Yes, yes we can. Sweet. So we've got access to our bolt right there. This has already got fresh gaskets in it. I'm not gonna worry about those. Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break, don't be broken. That's turning. Lovely. All right, same story on this one. 10 Newton meters, 135 degrees. $135. Okie dokie. And obviously I've got a bunch of other repairs you can see going on here. Intake manifold torques down to 15 Newton meters. All right, so what did we learn here? Well, we learned that N52s break timing cover head bolts. Guess I didn't know that. Also learned that it's actually not that difficult of a repair. Yeah, you are gonna, oh snap. I'll find that later. You are gonna need the timing tools to do it. You gotta pull the Vanos drives off, you gotta pull your timing chain guides apart, but that really isn't too bad. And then the bolts, they came out. I'm excited about that. No drills, no nothing like that. A little bit of frustration, a little bit of screaming in the background, but you know, it worked. I would suggest that if you were pulling the intake manifold, or not the intake manifold, if you were pulling the valve cover gasket off for a seal, for a eccentric shaft sensor, for a pretty well anything, take a look at those front bolts and see if they are broken. With our bolts replaced, we can go ahead and get our timing assembly reinstalled. We need to make sure that we haven't lost our guide pins here out the back. And we need to get our chain wrapped around this guy like so. Then we're going to drop down into our guide module here, and then we have to spread the teeth out, or spread the wings, or whatever you want to call this thing, so that we can get it clipped back in place. Try a set of snap ring pliers. See if this, oh man, that worked really perfectly. Ha, even grabbed the chain. All right, that guy is all clipped back in place. Now we can get our 2 bolts here in the top of the module. These are a 9 Newton meter torque. They were E8s. They sure did make it easy to change the eccentric shaft sensor. As you're installing these, this washer is captive, but make sure it's still there just in case. That'd be a real bummer if it wasn't there. Before we torque those, we're going to put our other pin here in this side of the chain guide. But a T40, this only torques down to 14 Newton meters. Make sure you get your finger in there so you can't lose it. That worked. Okay. We're done with the bolt section. Got to put our plug in. The plug here in the head is 50 Newton meters. If you knew you were going to do this job, you would have gotten a new seal for it. Boy, 50 is an insane amount for that thing. I'm going to be good at 45. Not a terrible job. $7 or whatever it was for the bolts. They're up on the screen here. I did pay for expedited shipping, which was $15 to get them here quickly. That's fine. Project Cheapskate is moving right along here. I'm going to put this the rest of the way together. You're actually seeing this video out of order. I already put it all together in the Vanos video, but now you see the bolts. On the back of the workbench over there is just over $2,000 in parts for Project Black Pearl. Stick around if you want to see that restoration on my 2002 540 that I picked up recently. There's a lot of stuff to come on that one. A lot. Really enjoyed having you here today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. Tell me what I missed, what I didn't, what you liked. We'll see you next time.